Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about very interesting, very cool little species. A lot of guys would have targeted him before, a lot of guys would have caught him before. The pick-handled barracuda, also known as a sea pike, Mike the sea spike, depending who you speak to. Oh no, there goes my lure is another phrase often used with them. Sphaerenia jello. Interestingly, the sea pike is one of 10 of the genus, of the Sphaerenia genus that we get in southern Africa. So there are quite a few species that are very similar to him. And there is a lot of confusion as to which species which. Often guys, with that issue, then you often get catch returns and stuff for research is often then a bit muddled, because you'll get everyone calling, say, a sawtooth barracuda, also calling that a sea pike because it looks so similar. But yeah, as we mentioned, sea pike, they are tubular, so almost, if you want to call it, serpent-like. They do move a little snakish in the thing. They use their whole body to swim, more than just fanning with the tail. They are quite tubular, so round in shape, but with a slightly flattened sides, and very long elongate, very sharp, coming to a point on the nose, and then they got bars that run down them like that. Fairly large eye. They're predatory fish, so they're using that eye to hunt and stalk other fish. The bars that go down them, there are about 20 of them, the bars that run along the sea pike like that. So that's the easiest way of identifying it, as a bar, instead of having the chevron shapes, because that's where it gets confused. That and the sawtooth are often confused, because the sawtooth has little almost diamond type shapes on it instead of just the plain bars. The fins on them are like a dusky kind of yellow, so it's that dark, sort of looks almost dusty yellow, but it's called dusky yellow. Very sharp teeth. So as I said earlier with the, oh no, there goes my lure, very often the sea pike, when you're fishing for them or fishing for other species and you're not using wire, the sea pike will grab it and dart out of the water like that, and with the sharp teeth your light line does not stand a chance. So it can be quite a loathed species, with guys losing 100 Rand lures at a time, or maybe even more expensive, to fishing for little oxeye tarpon or little kingies, and the sea pike come along in a thing and get rid of all your lures for you. Size wise, they grow to about 1.5 meters. Most of them you're going to get in the ones you encounter in the estuaries are going to be a lot smaller. They're all the juveniles, so anything from, what's that, about 30 centimeters and up. And then as you move offshore, you generally get the bigger fish. Now, they do get to 16 kilos. There is an SA record that isn't official, as far as my understanding goes, that sits at 24.2 kgs. But because the world angling, or the internationally acknowledged size of 16 is sort of their max, something that's 24 kilos sits a little bit funny. So it could have been that it's a different species that was measured wrong, but yeah, you're looking, most fish are going to be sort of 1 kilo to 5 kilos, and then anything bigger than that's a big fish, anything smaller than that's a little baby. They are a shoaling fish, so they like to hunt in packs. They congregate over any of the reef structures, so like ledges or pinnacles offshore. The spear fishermen and divers will know that you often get huge schools. We're talking maybe 1,000 individuals sitting on one pinnacle, just all the same size, just chilling like that. That could be a spawning aggregation. It could just be they're chilling with their friends. You never know. But yeah, they do like to aggregate together and stay together. And as they get bigger, they often go into smaller groups. So you'll see there's actually a pair of them that sits here in Durban Harbour that have been there for years. It's just the two of them that stay together, which is quite romantic. In terms of feeding, they really are voracious piscivores, which means they really like fish. That's what they're going after. Any small fish, whether they're in the estuaries, they're going to be hunting your glassies and your mullet. Offshore, then they're going to hunt the myriad of fish that we get off there. They do also like squid. They will eat squid when they can get their teeth on it. So in terms of baits, meaty, fishy baits are going to be your best bet. And then obviously something for choco. You often catch them, they're a very difficult species to target specifically. But you normally get them as bycatch when you're going for generally sharks, because you do get bitten off if you're not fishing with a bite trace or an FMJ. So your trace and your baits that you're going to be using for like a grey shark or something like that would be adequate to catch these guys. Very often if you're in a group as well, if you do catch one, someone else will catch another one. So that's because they're together like that, they generally go into a bit of a feeding melee. Summer spawning. So summertime is going to be when they're at their peak in terms of concentrations of here. And they are very, very popular with your spear fishermen and with your recreational boat and shore fishermen. So lures and bait, both very effective for them. If you are using lures for them, it's ideal not to use wire. Just makes the lure look a lot more natural, but unfortunately you do get bitten off quite a lot. So when it comes to targeting them, if you can afford to lose lures, don't use wire on them, much like fishing for shad, but you will get bitten off quite a bit. So if you can afford to use lures, or this is something where a very affordable lure like our rattler really comes into its own. Because they cost a lot less, it's a lot less painful seeing a sea pike jumping through the air with a rattler in its mouth than a, say, 400 Rand jackfin that you imported from Italy. So yeah, use lures. Anything with a nice aggressive action, something like a jerkbait type style where you fish where you're really whipping it works very well. Otherwise, if you're using bait, live baits are really, really loved by them. Any of your most prominent fish in the area. And yeah, the spear fishermen do like to shoot them. They are quite nice to eat. They do suffer from something called ciguataria poisoning, which is an accumulation of the toxins based from the reef. So a parrotfish eats the toxins from the reef, eats the reef itself, and obviously gets some of the toxins into its body. A sea pike comes along, eats 4 parrotfish. Now suddenly all the toxins that were in the parrotfish now from 4 parrotfish go into 1 sea pike. It's called bioaccumulation. So that's where you can often get ciguataria poisoning, and that's where people in tropical areas will tell you not to eat stuff like barracuda and any other game fish in general. Luckily along our coast we're fairly safe, so feel free to keep one. Try it out, they make nice cutlets if you want. But yeah, the sea pike, very nice fish to catch. As an ultralight enthusiast, they are one of the most phenomenal species to target. They often jump out the water, they give you a very good run. They're both estuary and shoreline based, so they're available to everyone. And yeah, they're definitely one for the species list. So go out, get some lures, get some bait, and go catch a sea pike. Cheers.